Us right now, Ranking Member, House Armed Services. Welcome, Congressman. What would you say? Because now we've seen what's happened on Friday, and the president has a big speech tonight. So getting this back on track is possible, you think, with a minerals deal? Or?
It's possible. I mean, the minerals deal is a little bit overstated in terms of its impact, but at least it would show some measure of cooperation, some measure of the U.S. and Ukraine back talking and back working together. The specifics of the minerals deal have not been worked out. I mean, what does it really mean? The really important thing here is that the aid gets turned back on to Ukraine. If Putin senses that we are walking away from Ukraine, he will simply press forward even more aggressively on the war, and there will be less of an opportunity to get to the peace table. The thing that Trump and Vance didn't seem to understand was you got to force Putin to the table, too. Putting all of the pressure on Zelensky and none of the pressure on Putin isn't going to get you to a negotiated settlement.
No, Vance, the vice president, certainly, as you see in this video, and we talked about it, you mentioned he played an outside role in all of this on Friday. Comments from the vice president today said when the Ukrainians come to the negotiating table, everything's on the table. We're at a point where neither Europe nor the United States nor the Ukrainians can continue this war indefinitely. It's important everybody comes to the table. I'll just throw in a comment I had earlier this hour from Republican Congressman Ryan Zinke, who joined us and said this.
Two things should come out. Well, one is Ukraine security. Europe needs to play a substantial role. To date, they have not. Europe allowed their military to atrophy over time. And secondly, if you want peace, both sides have to work together. Look, Putin's a war criminal. He's the aggressor. But Ukraine also has to step to the plate and desire peace.
What do you say about that, Congressman? What's a realistic expectation from Ukraine's point of view now that everything that's happened has happened?
Sure. Well, a couple of points about that. One, you have to continue to support Ukraine. And this is the thing. Vice President Vance has always been in favor of abandoning Ukraine. He has not been in favor of a peace agreement. He has been opposed to sending aid to Ukraine. And I don't know, maybe he hopes that's what will force Putin to negotiate, but that doesn't make any sense at all. The point is you have to support Ukraine so that Putin sees that he has to negotiate, that he can't just take it all militarily. So big point here is pulling out of supporting Ukraine is what, creates the imbalance that gives Putin all of the power in all of this going forward. And I think that's the big point we need to understand. If you want to get to the negotiating table, you have to put some pressure on Putin, not take it away. Second, it's a big mischaracterization of what Europe is doing. Europe has contributed more to this effort than the U.S. has.
Yes.
On a per capita basis, we're about 13th or 14th. No one's sending troops to Ukraine. It's sending money and munitions. And there, Europe has really stepped up on Ukraine. Certainly not within NATO more broadly, but it's wrong to say that Europe hasn't been very aggressively involved.
And that number that the President Trump uses, $350 billion, is way off. It's more like $180 billion on an apples-to-apples comparison. Europe's a little bit more than that. We get that. But now at this point, President Trump, if there's peace or a ceasefire in Ukraine, no matter what the terms are, can and will claim credit for that, right? So you know these issues, and as someone who supports Ukraine, so one kind of logical person might say, well, of course he would. That's great that there's peace. But the type of peace, I mean, where do you think we're going with all of this in terms of the terms?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, if Trump gets to a peaceable settlement that preserves a sovereign democratic Ukraine that can defend itself going forward, I'll give him credit for that.
Yep.
That's the key, is you have to get to that agreement. And that's what Trump and Vance don't seem to understand. Leaving Ukraine defenseless, forcing them to cede even more territory to Putin, that's not going to get to a peaceful outcome. And I know allegedly Trump wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize. He's not going to get a Nobel Peace Prize if Putin winds up in Kyiv, all right? No one, gave Chamberlain a Nobel Peace Prize after Hitler took over Czechoslovakia, all right? If you want to get to a legitimate peaceful settlement that, again, preserves a sovereign democratic Ukraine that can defend itself going forward,
right,
that's a peace worth getting to. But I'm not sure that Trump has us on that path at the moment.
Okay, Congressman, thank you. Congressman Adam Smith with us today. Well, we'll watch tonight, see what he says about it. We'll watch what he says about Elon Musk as well. There were more Doge